Story number 18, featuring Tammy, take 1.
We bought the house in 2003.
Here we are.
The feeling we got when we went in, it was just a positive feeling in the beginning. We just kind of knew that that was the place to be.
All right, let's get to work.
It was a small community. We knew we were going to try and have a child.
That looks great.
But Tammy's rosy outlook quickly starts to pale.
Probably about a week after we moved in, and my husband was alone in the house for the first time. He said that he heard a banging on the wall coming closer and closer.
Hello?
Tammy Northcutt and her husband Jerry had recently moved into a new home. Within the first week, they were hearing strange noises.
He said that he heard a banging on the wall coming closer. There was nothing there.
Next, it was Tammy's turn to start hearing things.
In the middle of the night, I got up because I heard arguing, and I didn't know where it was coming from. But we've got a vent that's in our living room, a heater vent. And you could tell that it was coming up from there. We would go down in the basement to find out what was going on. We could never see anything. It was just constantly just there, you know, but there was nothing, you couldn't see anything, but you could hear it.
The objective for spirits making themselves known could be a number of things. It could be they have a message they want to pass on. Others don't know they're passed on, so they're trying to interact. They're trying to be a part of the living world.
The couple suffered in silence until help arrived, by pure chance.
There was a shop, downtown Janesville. We met the couple. We were talking about the house, and they overheard us talking. And they said, we can help. They said that they could come bless the house. They blessed the house, and the things stopped for a while.
The house seemed to settle down.
18 months later, Tammy and Jerry had their first child, Connor.
As soon as my son was born, it started up again, the knocking. The cabinet doors in the kitchen, you can hear open and close. And, well, the basement door started opening and closing. My son's door was opening and closing. It started to kick up again.
These mysterious events continued until after Connor's second birthday. Then they turned more sinister.
Connor started seeing something on his bed that he referred to as Mr. Raider. He would tell me that I needed to get Mr. Raider off the bed. I would look, I could not see anything.
then another unwelcome guest paid a visit. An old woman who would shake his bed in the middle of the night.
That's when he would come running to our room about 2 a.m. It got to the point where he just refused to go into the room. My husband's mother had passed away before Connor was born, but we do have a picture of her, and he kept on looking at her picture, and he asked me to tell her to stop waking him up in the middle of the night.
Soon after that, Tammy had a terrifying moment.
I heard the door close, and Connor was in the room.
Connor?
And I was frantic.
Connor? Hey!
I didn't know what to do. I couldn't get the door open, and my son was in there, and I had to get to him. And I was actually going to call the fire department to have them come remove the door. I was so scared. And the door clicked, and I reached and I turned the knob, and it opened, and I was able to get him out. After that, we took the handle off the door so it could no longer latch.
Tammy and her husband were at a breaking point. They reached out for help a second time.
I've been investigating since the 90s, about 1997. They were scared. They really were. Our first investigation there probably produced the most evidence out of any single one investigation we've ever done anywhere. Throughout the night, we had what we call Class C EVPs, electronic voice phenomenon. But there were some times that we got what we call Class A EVPs, where we could hear exactly what it was saying.
Stop saying that. Get out.
Get out. Come get us. Stop saying that. We had something we thought growled at us. And all of a sudden, we hear, "Wow, wow." Our first impression was that we were dealing with something very negative. This thing is saying, I'm the boss here.
A few days later, the entity reveals a violent side.
I felt somebody choke me. There was pressure on my neck.
Tammy Northcutt and her husband sensed an evil force in their home. Their son, Connor, was being traumatized, and Tammy herself had felt attacked by some entity.
I felt somebody choke me. There was pressure on my neck, and it felt like there was hands around my neck, like I was being strangled.
Baby, hey!
And it was almost like I was being pushed into the bed, but, and then I felt like a release and I was able to sit up. But it was awful. It was an awful feeling.
Tammy asked the paranormal group to come back. This time they brought Paul, their most gifted psychic.
He came over and he was getting messages already from before he even got to our house.
The first thing Paul picked up was that the house had once been a seedy drinking den.
He's talking about this place being, where there's drunk people, and he makes the sound of one guy that just continually goes, "Arr, arr, arr." And I about fell off my stool when he did that because it sounded just like what we heard. Our biggest question was who was saying, "Come get us," and who told us to get out?
I was telling him about where Connor was seeing Mr. Rader. I showed him the room. And he told us it wasn't Mr. Rader, it was Mr. Reader. And in the 1930s, there was like a traveler's lodge that sat where our house is now. He said Mr. Reader owned the hotel.
And Paul's theory is that Mr. Reader is hanging out in the master bedroom area. And he's not a very nice guy. And he's probably the one that told us to get out.
Finally, they could put a name to this sinister spirit.
He started talking to Mr. Reader. As he was explaining to Mr. Reader that this is a different time, women are equal, the light started to brighten up in the room. And it felt lighter in the room. And now I don't have that negative feeling anymore. That's gone.
Paul had cleansed the house of the malevolent spirit, but still had some questions.
He asked Jerry what the name Dell meant. And he said, well, it's Della. That was my mom. She had passed away. And that's who was following Connor around.
The female spirit who had been waking Connor, Tammy's mother-in-law, wasn't trying to frighten him. She was trying to protect him. It was her voice that Tammy heard among the arguing in the basement.
I actually kind of felt a little comforted knowing that she was looking out for him. Every once in a while, you'll still hear the door slamming in the back and the heavy footsteps going down the stairs. But knowing what I know now because of Paul, I do feel better. And kind of knowing that I'm not going to get harmed, I'm not going to get hurt, I think makes me feel more comfortable.